You are listening to the Why Smart Women podcast, the podcast that helps smart women work out why we repeatedly make the wrong decisions and how to make better ones. From relationships, career choices, finances, to faux fur jackets and kale smoothies. Every moment of every day, we're making decisions. Let's make them good ones. I'm your host, Annie McCubbin, and as a woman of a certain age, I've made my own share of really bad decisions. Not my husband. I don't mean him, though. I did go through some shockers to find him. And I wish this podcast had been around to save me from myself. This podcast will give you insights into the working of your own brain, which will blow your mind. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm recording, and you are listening on this day. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. Well, hello, smart women. If any of you had been listening to the audiobook of Why Smart Women Make Bad Decisions and How Critical Thinking Can Protect Them, which we have played over about the last 10 weeks, you might like to tune in to the next 15 weeks and listen to the audio recording of my second book, which is Why Smart Women Buy the Lies and How Critical Thinking Reveals the Truth. So this is a continuation of the hapless character Kat, how she identifies the flaws in her thinking and finally makes better decisions. If you find yourself tuning in and you are perhaps in episode 3 or episode 4, by all means, go back to episode 1 and follow the narrative because it has a very strong narrative arc. So, relax, kick back, get yourself a cup of tea or a glass of wine and listen to the audio version of Why Smart Women Buy the Lies and How Critical Thinking Reveals the Truth. See you soon. Bye. Chapter 14, The Seance. You're sitting on Mrs. Hume's couch waiting for Mrs. Valeri. Porridge is sitting next to you. Mrs. Kovacic has insisted that the curse removal must proceed.
The last thing we need is Kat's wedding turning into black wedding.
There's a knock at the door. Charlotte opens it.
Why haven't you fixed the lift?
Mrs. Valeri stumps into the living room.
If I have a heart attack and my husband is made a widower, you're to blame.
Hello, Mrs. Valeri,
says Willow.
Can I be part of the ceremony? I've been reading up on curses. Curses can be multi-generational. My friend Amanda, well, her
Curses are not for children,
says Mrs. Valeri. Mrs. Kovacic opens the door.
Sophia, you sneak past me. I have told Mr. Kovacic I am going to the shops. He doesn't approve of curse removal.
You whisper to Mrs. Hume.
It's like curse removal is a legitimate business, like rubbish removal.
Come on in, Mrs. Kovacic,
says Charlotte.
I've got biscuits and a sneaky glass of something if you're interested.
Ooh, sneaky glass,
says Mrs. Kovacic. Sneaky glass, you think. Jesus.
You want one, Kat?
Says Charlotte.
No, thanks. I'd like to stay sober for the proceedings.
It's Charlotte's fault you told the low sperm count lie. It's her fault you and Michael have been arguing, and now she's back trying to ply you with alcohol.
Where is the cat?
Says Mrs. Valeri. She's holding court from a wing-back chair.
She's downstairs. Do you need her?
You say.
Of course not. The dog will do.
Porridge looks thrilled to have a pivotal role to play in the curse removal.
To remove the curse, it's important that everybody present believes that the curse is real and responsible for the trouble in the flats.
She stares pointedly at you. Everyone else nods their assent.
What about you, big dog girl?
You don't immediately respond.
She mean you,
says Mrs. Kovacic.
Yes, I know that.
You clasp your hands around your crossed knee. You consider that you look like the mature, rational one in the room.
I'm here as an observer.
No observers. Either you believe or you go.
Come on, Kat. It's not going to hurt you to go with the fun,
says Charlotte.
It's not fun,
says Mrs. Kovacic.
It's serious.
You look out the window. A long-lost memory threads its way back through your mind. You'd been standing at the garage of your parents' home. You were about 10 or 11. The late afternoon sunshine was filtering through the striations in the pergola. The smell of sausages floated in from Mrs. Johnson's barbecue. The radio was on. The low drone of talkback. You were happy. Your father was standing at his workbench with his back to you, arms straight, leaning against the bench. His shoulders were shaking.
Hey, Dad,
You said.
what's funny?
He turned around. His face was wet. You had never seen your father cry before. You were frozen to the spot.
I'll get Mum.
You said, backing out of the garage.
No.
You stood there watching tears falling out of his eyes and down his face, rivers of tears.
I had a very good friend. She died today.
Oh,
You said. You'd thumbed quickly through your mental file marked what to say to people when they are grieving. The file was slim. In fact, it was only one loose-leaf manila folder.
it's okay, Dad. Your friend is with God now.
He kicked the leg of his workbench, sending a rattle of tools to the garage floor.
Don't you ever say that again.
He said.
That is rubbish. It's to make feeble-minded people feel better. She is not with God. She's just gone. I'll never hear another word from her mouth. Not one.
He started to tidy the remaining tools on the bench.
And it's wrong and it's unfair because she was young. And some people really loved her.
You'd never known your father to be angry. You burst into tears. This broke his trance. He hugged you.
I'm sorry, kid, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell.
He pulled back and held you at arm's length. He wiped one hand across his nose.
Sorry. I'm okay. I love you.
And Sam?
And Sam.
And Richie?
He barks a lot. But yes, and Richie.
And Mum?
And Mum. Speaking of Mum, we might not mention this, eh? No need to upset her.
Your world slightly tilted. You wanted things to be the way they were 5 minutes ago when you'd entered the garage and there was the smell of sausages in the air.
Sure, Dad.
You said. He took your hand.
Let's go in for dinner.
My family is Russian.
Charlotte is saying now.
My mother was a strong believer in karma, that what goes around comes around.
Hang on, Charlotte.
Says Mrs. Kovacic.
Mr. Yi not deserve to die. Mr. Kovacic not deserve to get stroke. Cat not deserve to bang head and lose job. That not karma.
You see something cross Charlotte's face, a micro-expression. Since the incident on the stairs, your brain has recalibrated itself to see past Charlotte's masks. Although Charlotte has arranged her mouth into a smile, it's too late. You saw contempt. Charlotte smiles at Mrs. Kovacic.
Of course it wasn't.
Mrs. Belleri cuts her off.
Okay, enough of the jibber-jabber. Now we do the curse work.
Willow claps her hands together.
Hold hands and close your eyes. You can stay, big dog girl, but no secret filming of the curse removal so that you can sell it to the media.
Cat not do that.
Says Mrs. Kovacic.
She don't know anybody at Channel 9.
The room goes quiet. You open one eye and look around you. Everyone has compliantly shut their eyes. Mrs. Belleri throws her head back, groans, shudders. A cloud conveniently crosses the sun and the room darkens.
Spirits,
She says in a voice 2 tones lower than usual.
I ask you to join me in this ceremony to remove the curse or curses.
There is a loud clanking noise from somewhere in the flats. Mrs. Kovacic lets go of your hand and clasps her hand across her mouth. Willow gasps.
Spirits, we are waiting for you.
The noise continues. It sounds like chains rattling.
Ah, welcome, Mr. Yi.
Mrs. Kovacic gives a strangled squeal.
What he saying? Tell him Cat and I see Mrs. Yi in God's waiting room. Sometimes we take porridge. She like that.
Mrs. Belleri cuts across her.
He can't hear you, Mrs. Kovacic. He only hears me.
I know.
Says Mrs. Kovacic.
I asking you to tell him.
There's a pause.
Oh,
Mrs. Belleri says, nodding into the middle distance.
so that's what happened.
What he saying?
He's telling me how he was killed.
Killed?
Says Mrs. Kovacic.
He wasn't killed.
You say.
He died of COVID.
Mr. Yi has the real story.
He died of COVID. That is the real story.
But why did he get COVID? That's what I'm asking him.
Willow pulls her knees up to her chest.
I bet the curse first gave Mr. Kovacic the stroke, then went through the wall and gave Mr. Yi COVID.
You're going to ask him why he got COVID?
Well, I'd like to, but you won't shut up.
You roll your eyes. The sound of clanking chains reverberates through the walls. Mrs. Kovacic's eyes are huge in her head.
Mr. Yi, why did you get COVID?
Mrs. Baleri nods, looking this way and that.
Oh, right. He said the curse spread through the wall from Mr. Kovacic to him. The curse is evil and relentless.
Oh my God,
Says Willow.
that's exactly what I said. I'm psychic.
Did you say that? I was deep in the trance, I didn't hear you.
You can hear her now.
You say.
I'm not in a trance now.
The clanking, which now sounds like it's coming from the hallway, is getting louder and louder. Willow screams, Porridge whimpers and climbs onto your lap.
The dog is frightened of the other spirit entering the room.
Porridge is frightened of plastic bags.
Cat,
Says Charlotte.
maybe just go with the flow, or we'll be here for hours. Okay, Mrs. Baleri, what spirit has entered the room?
You wish you'd accepted her early offer of a sneaky glass of something,
Aunt Lucy,
whispers Willow.
maybe it's Grandpa.
Mrs. Baleri falls back in her chair. Her eyes roll into the back of her head.
Welcome, Grandpa.
She intones.
Isn't your brother-in-law alive?
You say to Mrs. Hume.
Yes, he is.
She says.
Yes, Grandpa, I'm listening for your message. There's a lot of jibber-jabber in the room.
Why would Grandpa's spirit be in the room if he's alive?
You say.
Grandpa's wife is in the room. She has a message for Grandpa. There's too much talk. The spirit lines get hazy.
Listen, everyone, let's be quiet and give Mrs. Baleri a chance to communicate with the spirits.
Says Charlotte, looking at her watch.
Thank you, Charlotte. Grandpa's wife says she wishes you hadn't left for Australia.
Well,
Says Mrs. Hume.
she could have said that on the phone.
No, wait. Oh, another spirit is coming through. It's your late Aunt Edith.
Who? I know our family tree intimately.
Says Mrs. Hume.
Yes, that's my aunt from Shropshire.
Says Charlotte.
So Aunt Edith from Shropshire knows what's happening in a small block of flats in Sydney.
You say.
Is it like a Facebook for spirits where they can scroll and find out what's happening to their ghost mates all around the world?
There's a loud volley of clanging and banging. Willow yelps and moves closer to Charlotte.
Cat, if my Aunt Edith wants to help dispel the curse, then let her.
God!
You say, pushing Porridge off your lap.
Where's the champagne, Charlotte?
Sit down, big dog girl. Aunt Edith is becoming impatient.
She turns on her phone torch and holds it under her face. The clanging sound continues.
The spirit is trapped in the walls of these flats. The spirit is crying. The spirit is causing the curse. Aunt Edith is going to take the trapped spirit by the hand and take her to the correct level.
There are levels.
You say.
Aunt Edith is a top-level spirit. She's in charge of a lot.
Mrs. Baleri starts rocking and groaning.
Aunt Edith, I call on you to release the spirit that's causing the curse. Let these people live in peace in their average, unimportant lives. They're not worth the trouble.
Porridge whines and returns to your lap, trying to burrow himself in. Suddenly the door flies open. Willow and Mrs. Kovacic scream. Will stands in the doorway. In front of him is Mr. Kovacic in his wheelchair, holding Susan.
How you get upstairs?
Says Mrs. Kovacic.
In the lift.
Says Mr. Kovacic.
What? They told me the lift is not working. I nearly had a heart attack.
We fixed it.
Says Mr. Kovacic.
We went down there with a baby monitor and I told him what to do. He's clever.
He is clever.
Says Willow.
So now we're here.
Says Mr. Kovacic.
I have message from me and Will. There is no curse and you're a horrible old charlatan.
You don't know anything.
I grew up in Split. Women like you a dime a dozen.
Mr. Kovacic says.
That clanging was you fixing the lift. I thought Mrs. Valeri had a tape running.
Go on.
says Mr. Kovacic,
Off with you or I put a real curse on you.
Bartol, you're ruining everything.
says Mrs. Kovacic.
You foolish man, your stroke was caused by the curse. Now you can expect a second stroke to finish you off.
What are you saying?
says Mrs. Kovacic. She stands and walks to Mr. Kovacic.
Don't make threat to Bartol. One stroke is enough.
Mrs. Valeri rises out of her chair, picks up her handbag and looks at Mrs. Kovacic.
You sound like a peasant, Mia. It's don't make a threat, not don't make threat. Anyway, my threats are the least of your worries, fools. Now the curse will follow you forever.
Don't listen to her.
Says Mr. Kovacic. Mrs. Valeri moves to the door.
I'm not going until I'm paid.
Mr. Kovacic reaches into his pocket and pulls out a dollar coin.
Well, please give this to Mrs. Belleri.
Will complies.
You have been paid.
Says Mr. Kovacic.
Mia, I'm not going to have another stroke. We're not peasants. Now you can go, Mrs. Belleri.
Fine. A curse on both your houses. I'm going down in the lift.
Use the stairs.
Where's Porridge? After Mrs. Belleri's banishment, you'd ridden up and down in the lift with Mr. Kovacic, Will, Willow and Porridge for half an hour before Porridge tired of it. It's now Saturday morning. You decide that with your newfound financial focus, you should read the financial papers. You browse the Australian Financial Review website and discover that WWS has gone into administration. The paper reports that David Firth is being criticised for taking his executive team to Hawaii to stand around the rim of the volcano and stare into the abyss, all while massive staff cuts were being made across the business. Ha, you think. I know who was behind the volcano idea. I bet he was there, you say to Susan, wearing his R.M. Williams making them chant demiurgic into the magma.
Porridge!
You call. He doesn't appear. You try again.
Porridge!
You and Michael still aren't talking, but you decide this necessitates a break in the silence.
Michael, where's Porridge?
He's not in the lounge room?
No?
You're sitting at the table. You turn around and notice the front door is open.
Did you open the front door?
No.
Well, it's open.
He comes into the lounge room, looks at the open front door, retreats to the bedroom and emerges 30 seconds later, pulling on his jeans.
I'm on it.
He has no road sense. He's an idiot.
You go to the door and call into the corridor.
Porridge!
No response.
Cat, throw your shoes on and bring treats.
I'll check Mrs. Humes.
You tie up your shoes and run up the stairs. Charlotte is coming down.
Is Porridge at yours?
You say, all antipathy forgotten.
No, you can't find him?
No.
Oh, God. OK, I was going to ask you if I could borrow your phone for a sec. Alec has taken mine, I think. But it's OK, I'll ask Mrs. Kovacic.
You stop and take a breath. Calm down, Cat.
It's okay. Here, take mine.
Thanks. I'll call him, then join the search.
You run down the stairs and hesitate when you get to the street. Has Michael gone left or right? You turn left. Charlotte appears and hands you your phone.
All good. He's got it. You go left, I'll go right.
You sprint down the street. You see Michael in the distance at Daisy's house. She's at her gate, alone, paws up, waiting for a pat.
Daisy, have you seen Porridge?
He's saying to her.
The park. Come on.
You cross the road to the perimeter of the park. There's no sign of Porridge. Your panic is rising. What if he's gone for good? You'll expire from grief. What if Miriam calls to ask how he is? She does this every few months.
Put the fella on the phone.
She always says.
You wouldn't believe it. Doug misses him.
You put the phone to Porridge's ear. The last time you could hear Doug say,
How are you, big fella?
You'd made dog noises into the phone.
He's talking to me, Miriam.
Doug had said. What if Porridge has gone? And Miriam and Doug progress to Zoom. You making dog noises won't cut it then.
Excuse me?
You look towards the voice. A woman is standing on the footpath waving to you.
Yes.
Is this you, Doug?
You can't see any dog, but you and Michael both sprint towards her. She points to the car she's standing next to. You look inside. Porridge is sitting in the front seat. Your heart skips a beat. You could kiss the woman.
Oh, thank heavens, thanks so much.
She shrugs.
Where was he? Did you have to lift him into the car? I'm so sorry.
You could have rung us. Cat's number, this is Cat,
He says, pointing to you.
is on his collar.
You don't understand. I opened my passenger door to put the handbag in and he jumped in.
What?
You say. You look at Michael. He smiles at you and leans into the front seat.
Porridge, what's the deal?
Porridge looks dead ahead, avoiding all eye contact.
Come on, buddy.
This is very strange behaviour.
You say to the woman.
Normally, he won't get into a car.
Dogs, she says. Then she looks at you. They're nice pyjamas. Are they Peter Alexander?
Yes, they were on sale.
Porridge is resisting all attempts to be extricated from the car, leaning heavily towards the driver's seat. You go around to the driver's side, open the door and push Porridge towards Michael. After another 30 seconds of threats and treat offers, Porridge gives in.
Sorry again.
No problem. See you, Porridge, the woman says, getting into her car. You stand on the street in your pyjamas, waving her off like she's family. Michael is on one knee in front of Porridge, fixing the lead onto his collar. He looks up at you.
You want to get a coffee?
I'm wearing pyjamas.
That's okay. I'm wearing my chicken T-shirt.
He puts his arm around you.
Come on, let's celebrate the return of the Groodle.
Porridge, the car incident behind him, is now straining on his lead. He pulls Michael ahead. You look at them from behind. Porridge is glancing up at Michael, and every few steps, Michael pats Porridge's head and tells him what a good boy he is. He's clearly not a good boy, but this gesture speaks to Michael's kind and forgiving nature. He doesn't roam the streets at night smoking after seeing his fancy woman. Fancy woman? You've been around Mrs. Kovacic far too much. You realise Michael is the most decent person you've ever met. You love him. You owe him the truth. You need to tell him you're about to trade for real.
Michael?
He turns around.
Yep.
I just wanted to tell you.
You pause.
Yep.
That I'm going to order more socks for you with Susan on them.
Thanks, Kat. I've ordered you a chicken T-shirt.
Brilliant.
You are a coward, you say to yourself. A coward and a bad liar. Zero balance. It's 8 a.m. on D-Day, the day you graduate from paper trades to real trades. You're sitting at your laptop. It's time to transfer $35,000 into your trading account. You crack your knuckles. Porridge is at your elbow. He's shown no remorse for the trouble he caused you yesterday.
Okay, Porridge, here we go.
You open your bank account in your browser window. Zero balance. You refresh the page. Zero balance. Your name. Your balance. Zero. You clap your hand over your mouth. There's a knock at the door. You get up and lunge towards it. In your confusion, you think it might be someone from the bank with your money. You open the door. It's Mrs. Hume and Alec. Porridge is delighted. He tries to get past you, but you hang onto his collar.
What?
Alec looks terrible. His hair is askew, he's wearing shorts and what appears to be Willow's sweatshirt.
Alec, what's wrong? I'm just dealing with something urgent. Can this wait?
He runs his hands through his hair.
Can we come in?
Says Mrs. Hume. You pull Porridge to the side so they can enter, then rush back to your laptop. Still zero balance. Where is the money? Your panic is rising. There must be some mistake.
Kat,
says Mrs. Hume.
Alec has something to tell you.
You look up. They are sitting on the couch.
Charlotte is gone,
says Alec. You open the banking app on your phone.
Gone where?
Gone. Left.
What?
You enter the password. 2U2AN123.
Well, Alec, you can't blame her.
What?
Will you please just shut up for a moment?
Your account balance is zero in the app too.
What are you saying, Kat?
You look up.
I'm saying Sansia Burridge, Alec. Sansia Burridge.
Sansia Burridge?
Says Mrs. Hume.
My business partner?
You hit refresh for the 10th time.
And she's your aunt's business partner, Alec. How could you?
What?
I know about your affair.
With Sansia Burridge? No, she prefers women.
You go back to your computer and re-enter your details.
What?
Says Alec.
Sorry, Alec, if you were thinking about Sansia.
I wasn't thinking about Sansia.
Oh, come on, Alec. I heard you arguing. I saw you coming home at 3 a.m. and you were smoking.
You've been smoking?
You've been watching me?
He stands up.
I've been working nights at the warehouse.
The warehouse?
It's Michael's voice. You turn around. He has emerged from the shower and is standing in the doorway wearing your lavender dressing gown.
Forklift.
Says Alec.
What's happened?
Michael says.
Charlotte has gone.
Says Alec.
Did she say anything to you, Kat?
Says Mrs. Hume, rising from the couch. You look up at her.
Me? No.
Are you sure?
she says.
You were close.
Your chest tightens.
Yes, I'm very sure.
You say to Mrs. Hume,
What are you implying?
What do you mean, gone?
says Michael.
We woke up this morning and she's gone. From what she's taken with her.
She's taken her passport,
Says Mrs. Hume.
some clothes and jewellery.
And what was left in our cash accounts.
Your knees buckle.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you're a podcast host or someone wanting to be interviewed on podcasts as a guest, visit podmatch.com. Podmatch automatically connects ideal podcast guests and hosts together for interviews. We always say it works just like a dating app, but instead of connecting you for dates, it connects you for podcast interviews. Podmatch has connected over 85,000 guests and hosts together for interviews that listeners love, all while saving you countless hours of administrative work through built-in automations. If you're ready to level up your podcast interviews on either side of the mic, start today by visiting podmatch.com.
Oh God, she's taken my money. She's robbed me. I'll kill her.
What's gone?
Michael says.
I had over $30,000 in that account.
You point to your laptop.
You started trading.
I didn't get a chance. The account is empty.
Mrs. Hume is silent. Alec groans. Porridge climbs on the lounge next to Alec and puts his head in his lap. Alec puts his arms around Porridge and presses his face into his neck. You've never seen Alec so much as pat Porridge. Then to your horror, you realise Alec's shoulders are shaking. He's crying. You cross to the couch and crouch down in front of him.
Alec,
You say, grabbing his hands.
you must have some idea where she's gone.
Alec, pull yourself together.
Says Mrs. Hume.
The children have enough going on without you.
Alec straightens up and starts gasping for breath.
Alec, you okay?
You say. You notice he's shaking. He grabs at his chest. Oh, God, he's having a heart attack. Mrs. Hume looks terrified. Didn't her husband have a coronary? You grab your phone. Michael appears behind you, handing Alec a paper bag.
Mate, just take 6 normal breaths into this bag.
Alec looks up at him, then grabs the bag and takes 6 breaths into it.
You okay? You're okay. You're hyperventilating.
Says Michael. Alec's breathing slows. He looks up towards Michael and wipes his nose with the back of his hand.
Thank you.
He says to Michael.
I'm sorry, Kat. I'm sorry, everyone.
Michael puts his hand on his shoulder.
It's okay. You okay?
He nods.
Did she leave a note?
You say.
No,
Where would she go? You must have some clue, Alec. Think.
I don't know.
Your friend's in the Barossa. I bet she's gone there.
You say.
Siri, find on the internet Barossa Valley Vineyards.
We don't have friends in the Barossa.
Says Alec.
But the wine, Charlotte's guess.
What?
Maybe she's gone back to her mother's mansion.
You say.
Her mother's mansion? Her parents run a news agency in Dingle. She hasn't spoken to them for years.
Says Alec. You cover your eyes with your hands and exhale.
I didn't hear her get up.
Says Alec.
Porridge barked at 2 a.m.
You say.
I told him to shut up.
How did she get into your account?
Says Michael.
She'd need your email and a password.
I am such an idiot.
2U 2AN 123.
Alec,
You say.
did you take Charlotte's phone yesterday?
No.
I gave her my phone just for a minute.
You say.
She borrowed mine too.
Mrs. Kovacic appears in the doorway. Mr. Kovacic is behind her in his wheelchair.
What's happening?
Charlotte's disappeared.
You say.
Disappeared?
Says Mrs. Kovacic.
Where? She okay?
We think so. She borrowed your phone yesterday?
When Porridge was missing.
She hasn't been advising you to trade crypto, has she?
Crypto?
Says Alec.
She knows nothing about crypto. She's a hospitality manager.
Charlotte told me to move money from under bed into bank account. She said under bed is peasant behavior.
You feel a claw squeezing your lungs. You can hardly breathe.
Did she help you set up your account?
You say.
Yes, she did. We set up the account and then I took the money to the branch.
You slide onto the floor and pull your knees up to your chest. Susan puts her paw on your knee.
What? You did this without talking to me?
Says Mr. Kovacic.
What? You my boss?
Says Mrs. Kovacic.
Mrs. Kovacic,
You say.
how much did she take?
Ha! She took nothing. I moved money back out of account. After the business on the stairs, I thought, why am I taking advice from someone whose husband is sleeping with women behind her back?
I was not sleeping with a woman.
Says Alec.
At least not with Sansia Burridge.
Says Mrs. Hume. Alec rolls his eyes at her.
So she took nothing from you?
You say to Mrs. Kovacic.
No, I open share portfolio.
You should have discussed it with me,
says Mr. Kovacic. Mrs. Kovacic waves her hand dismissively at Mr. Kovacic.
Mr. Alexei, it's too late for lies. We saw you.
What? No, we didn't.
You've been out every night with your fancy woman.
Sansia Burridge is my business partner, Mrs. Kovacic,
says Mrs. Hume.
How long you been in business? You're so old.
Not now, Mrs. Kovacic.
Alec has been working shifts in a warehouse,
says Michael.
A warehouse. And no fancy woman. Okay. That's a lot of lies, Mr. Alexei.
He nods.
Don't tell me she took from you, Cat.
You look at her and link your hands behind your neck.
I told you not to trust her.
What? No, you didn't.
Willow bursts through the door and runs to her father. She stands in front of him, her hands clenched.
What is wrong with you? Why did you make her go away?
Alec rubs his jaw.
Willow,
he says. Will arrives. He goes to Willow. She looks up at him, sits on the floor, buries her head in her arms and weeps.
Why can't I keep a mother?
Will looks at her for a couple of seconds, then sits behind her, encircles her with his legs, puts his arms around her and lays his head on her back. It is the most compassionate thing you've ever witnessed.
Willow,
you say,
we're here and we love you.
You think of your bank balance and pick up your phone.
I'm calling the police. Can we please keep this in the family until we know what's going on?
Says Mrs. Hume.
We're not going to find out what's going on by keeping it in the family.
You say. Mrs. Hume opens her handbag, takes out a hanky, goes to Willow and wipes her face.
I'd prefer it if we took care of this ourselves.
We're not the Corleones, Mrs. Hume. She's stolen from us. It's not a family matter. It's a crime.
Will looks up from the floor.
I told you she was evil.
It's the first time you've ever heard him speak. Detective Bradley is back.
And how long have you been married?
2 years.
The detective looks at the two children.
They're my children from my first wife.
What happened to her?
Says the detective.
She died.
Says Alec, putting his head in his hands.
I know how bad this looks.
Alec appears completely defeated from the continual effort of defending himself.
I swear I didn't know she was leaving.
He'd been saying to them earlier.
I've seen those guilty spouses lying to the cameras, but that's not me.
The detective scribbles something in his notebook.
Would you describe yourself as happily married?
Who is happy?
Says Mrs. Kovacic.
I'm sorry?
Says the detective.
You married, detective?
I see you've managed to learn English.
Yes, I did speed learning course.
Okay, I've never been married.
Well, when you get married, you understand what a stupid question that is.
How did your first wife pass away?
Her name was Laura.
Says Alec.
She died from complications caused by the coronavirus.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hello from www.designerminidoodles.com, home of the best quality mini, micro mini, and toy-sized golden doodle puppies, as well as miniature Bernedoodle puppies and miniature Cavapoo puppies in the United States. Here at Designer Mini Doodles, we have a nanny, and we are able to fly our puppies anywhere in the country, allowing you to get some of the best bloodlines from top quality breeding program in the United States.
What if it wasn't COVID?
Says Will. The room goes silent.
What if Charlotte murdered me mother?
Mrs. Hume puts her hand to her mouth. She's sitting on a chair near the window. Mr. Kovacic is sitting next to her in his wheelchair, chewing on his bottom lip. Eventually Alex says,
Will, Jesus.
You look at Willow.
Will, it was COVID.
The detective scribbles in his notebook.
I didn't cope too well losing Laura, which wasn't ideal given my job, so I had to step down to therapy, which is where I met Charlotte, and we seemed to click, you know, so...
So you came to Sydney 3 months ago?
Says Detective Bradley.
Why? What did you discuss?
It was Charlotte's idea. We were happy enough, but I couldn't work in air traffic anymore, and we lost a lot of money on some poor investment decisions.
Alec looks at Mrs. Hume and sighs deeply.
We were hoping that my aunt might make me the beneficiary of her will.
This is your aunt?
By marriage.
Says Mrs. Hume.
Wow.
Says Willow.
That's a crap plan.
Mrs. Hume compresses her lips.
I had just gifted Alec his inheritance, $50,000. Charlotte has helped herself to that. I will repay you every single cent she stole from you, Kat.
No, you won't. It was my fault. I trusted her.
It's true. Kat was very keen on her.
That's not very helpful, Mrs. Kovacic,
says Michael.
She encouraged my wife to put $10,000 into a bank account without telling me. Also, she got my wife drunk at 7 a.m.
The detective makes a note.
Hello, could you please ask Mrs. Kovacic to bring me a Coke?
Says Mr. Kovacic. Mr. and Mrs. Kovacic haven't spoken to each other since Mrs. Kovacic admitted she took their money from under the bed without telling Mr. Kovacic.
What my husband not told you is I took the money out before she could rob me.
She seemed so nice,
says Mrs. Hume.
I just wouldn't dream that family would do that to me. You must think us fools.
You look at Mrs. Hume, stoic, honest, genuine to the last. It is so unfair. How do people make these terrible decisions? Alec could have married a nice, helpful, ordinary person. Maybe ordinary is not for him. Maybe he likes the fireworks. When you marry, you decide you will go for ordinary. Why are you thinking about getting married? Why didn't you put more trust in Michael? Why did you risk your relationship by lying to him? He may not have a sparkling social antenna. He may monologue at your friends when he's onto something he finds interesting. But he is good, and that is all there is. The detective is asking Alec more questions now. You wonder how many of these interviews he does a week, how many houses he knocks at, how many people welcome him in, and how many are suspicious of him, how good he is at picking liars.
Unfortunately, we see this all the time. You'd be surprised how often it's family members scamming family members. Blood isn't always thicker than water. It also happens in church congregations, places where you'd expect people to do the right thing.
That's why I'll never go to church,
says Willow.
It's unsafe.
Any idea what time she left?
He says,
Porridge barked at 2 a.m.
I'm assuming this is Porridge?
He looks down at Porridge, who has his head on his lap.
Mrs. Kovacic, where do you keep the key in my flat?
In the bowl on the kitchen bench.
She claps her hands.
Charlotte came 2 days ago to borrow a bowl.
What for?
Says Alec.
She never cooked.
She bought bowl back yesterday. She must have stolen your key.
Then she let Porridge out. She set up the whole thing to get to our phones.
Right, so Alec's wife disappeared in the night after emptying Alec's and your bank accounts.
I've brought this upon you all,
says Alec, hanging his head. You pull your phone out of your pocket and check Facebook and Instagram. Gone. She's gone. Her profiles have disappeared.
What are the chances of us retrieving our money?
I can't say for certain. This kind of theft leaves a digital trail, and we'll get Interpol and the other agencies on that trail. But if she's got a third party helping, I don't know.
Thank you. Also, could it please be noted that my car is fully registered?
I'm sorry?
My car is registered.
Good. That's good.
If there are no more questions,
says Alec.
I'd like to go home.
Where's home?
Says Will.
Home is upstairs,
says Mrs. Hume.
Home for as long as you need it.
Before we wrap up,
says Michael.
If I could just have a moment.
Everyone looks to Michael.
Despite what you may have heard, I do not have a low sperm count.
Right,
you say.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Charlotte's Web. So, Charlotte is the villain of the piece. Let's not judge Kat too harshly. Charlotte is a consummate liar. How does she do it, and why does Kat fall for her lies? Charlotte is probably a psychopath, or at least has narcissistic personality disorder. About 1% of the population is psychopathic, and it is estimated that a greater percentage has narcissistic personality disorder. This book explores why we buy the lies, not why liars lie. So I'm not going to dig into what drives Charlotte. I will say, however, that it's common for these types of individuals to be very driven to uphold the impression that they are extremely wealthy and want for nothing. Charlotte presents herself as someone who has everything that Kat wants: a gorgeous husband, a glamorous lifestyle, and stylish fashion sense. Charlotte takes full advantage of the halo effect. This is where, because someone has attributes in one area, we assume they have attributes in another. It's the same phenomenon we see with Gabriel Randall beginning in Chapter 6. Because he is tall, good-looking, and comes in riding on the back of his stellar reputation, it is assumed he'll be a positive force for good in the business. Because Charlotte is, in Kat's eyes, attractive and well-dressed, Kat assumes she is financially adept and skilled in crypto trading. When Charlotte's language infers an elevated level of familiarity and skill with crypto, Kat's brain uses a heuristic, a mental shortcut. What Charlotte says sounds broadly valid, so it must be true. Charlotte takes full advantage of this. She also urges Kat to be moderate in her approach, inferring care. Flattery will get you nowhere. Charlotte also uses flattery to reel Kat in. We are absolute suckers for flattery. It triggers the same reward centres in the brain, the ventral striatum and the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, that go ping during sex. Charlotte continually reassures Kat that she is pretty, smart and funny. We are inclined to believe someone who sees us in a positive light. Kat uses motivated reasoning to come to the conclusion she wants. She likes Charlotte. She likes what Charlotte is selling her. A life free from the corporate world's constraints, riding high off the back of crypto trading. The cognitive flaws in Kat's thinking mean she is highly motivated to believe Charlotte's story and likely to subsume any negative thoughts she may otherwise have entertained. Charlotte subtly undermines Kat's relationship with Michael when she senses that Michael may impede her plan to befriend and then rob Kat. Separating victims from their loved ones is a common technique used by scammers, narcissists, and cults alike. This separation encourages the victim to be dependent on the perpetrator's opinions and suggestions, allowing them to operate freely without the victim being influenced by other voices. Beware social media. Does this even need to be said here? About 1 billion words have been written about the dangers of social media, so let me add to the chorus. Charlotte's social media accounts are carefully curated to present a life worth aspiring to. Even though one part of Kat's brain is warning her that a person's social media account is just their highlights reel, she can't help but be pulled into the lie of Charlotte's life. We are social animals. It is this tendency to tribalism that makes us more vulnerable to being scammed. We are hardwired to be loyal to our group. Affinity fraud, which is fraud perpetrated by someone who has embedded themselves in a group and therefore gained the trust of its members, is a huge problem. These criminals take advantage of decent congregants, shareholders and investors. Mrs. Kovacic, on the other hand, does not fall for Charlotte's scam. It's easy to assume that because Mrs. Kovacic is under Mrs. Bellairy's spell, she will also be vulnerable to Charlotte's charms. The truth is, we all have our individual vulnerabilities when it comes to being lied to. We can protect ourselves by understanding the particular areas in which we are likely to fall prey to lies and the mechanisms that underpin these weaknesses. Charm is overrated. Kat nearly destroys her relationship with Michael by allowing herself to be influenced by Charlotte. Michael is a good human. We so often mistake charm, which Charlotte has in spades, with goodness. There is no correlation. Michael is a quietly funny, decent, ethical person. He's not showy or ostentatious. Fortunately, Kat realises his worth in time, and I think she can look to her future with confidence. I realise I'm writing this as if the characters live a life outside my imagination. In a way, they do. They often surprise me by the actions they take or the opinions they express. But really, they belong to me. And I wanted to create in Michael a character who does not fit the accepted convention of what an attractive man should be. Because Michael, and all the other men like him, deserve a chance. Lie detection. Charlottes, they're out there. Be very, very careful of the Charlottes of this world. Charming doesn't mean good. So are the good people. It is inscribed in our DNA to trust, to believe. We need other people to survive. We need to be part of a community. We need to feel that our community has our back. End of chapter 14. Thanks for tuning into Why Smart Women with me, Annie McCubbin. I hope today's episode has ignited your curiosity and left you feeling inspired by my anti-motivational style. Join me next time as we continue to unravel the fascinating layers of our brains and develop ways to sort out the fact from the fiction and the over 6,000 thoughts we have in the course of every day. Remember, intelligence isn't enough. You can be as smart as paint, but it's not just about what you know, it's about how you think. And in all this talk of whether or not you can trust your gut, if you ever feel unsafe, whether it's in the street, at work, in a car park, in a bar, or in your own home, please, please respect that gut feeling. Staying safe needs to be our primary objective. We can build better lives, but we have to stay safe to do that. And don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the podcast and share it with your fellow smart women and allies. Together, we're hopefully reshaping the narrative around women and making better decisions. So until next time, stay sharp, stay savvy, and keep your critical thinking hat shiny. This is Annie McCubbin signing off from Why Smart Women. See you later. This episode was produced by Harrison Hess. It was executive produced and written by me, Annie McCubbin.